Here is the overview you need. So let's talk about direct pay with bank account. So first of all, the thing is you want to use, if you are trying to pay personal income tax online, you can use this service to pay your taxes for Form 1040 series, estimated taxes, or other associated forms directly from your checking or savings account at no cost to you. This is really good. So this is called direct pay. And if you go to the IRS website, you can just actually sign up on the IRS website. Not a problem. You can easily keep track of your payment by signing up for email notifications about your tax payment each time you use IRS direct pay. The good thing is that it is secure. So email notification will contain the confirmation number you'll receive at the end of a payment transaction. And the IRS will continue to remind taxpayers to watch out for email schemes. So you will only receive an email from the IRS direct pay if you have requested this service. And if you have already made a payment through direct pay, you can use your confirmation number to look up a payment feature. And you can also modify or cancel scheduled payments until 2 business days before the payment date. So it's it's very flexible. You can also view your payment history by accessing your online account with the IRS. So when you think about direct pay, I want you to think about a free IRS service that lets you make tax payments online directly from your bank account to the IRS. And direct pay lets you pay the IRS directly. This is why it's called direct pay. It's not a way to get a direct deposit of your tax refund to your bank account. It is a way to pay the IRS. And what kinds of payments does direct pay accept? So individual taxpayers can use direct pay for payments on the following returns: income tax form 1040, 1040 healthcare payments, formerly called shared responsibility payments. You have 1040 ES estimated tax, 1040X amended return, installment agreements, 4868 extension to file, and 5329 additional taxes on qualified plans. Okay, so this is really important. Now you have to really think about also what kind of payments over the long run do qualify for direct pay. It really depends on the kind of agreement you have with the IRS. Okay, now direct pay will always provide confirmation that your payment request was submitted. So you want to wait for at least 24 to 48 hours after you made a payment to receive confirmation that indeed everything went through. And the thing is that sometimes people ask the question, well, what if I have a different browser? Well, the cool thing is all browsers work with direct pay. By the way, I want to welcome you back to the channel. It's really a pleasure to have you here. We're having a conversation about how to pay personal income tax online. So IRS direct pay works best with Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome. So we have a IE 11 or higher. We have Firefox 8.0 or higher, or Safari 12, 13, or 14 on iOS, Chrome 85 or higher on Android 8, 9, and 10. So you may experience issues using direct pay with other web browsers, for example, IE 11 or on Windows 7. So it's always important, if you have problems, please change the browser you are using to actually access direct pay. So now the question is, there's another program that the IRS has, which is the EFTPS, okay, the Electronic the Electronic Federal Tax Payment System. So EFTPS is usually used for most business payments. EFTPS may save you time if you are making quarterly estimated tax payments or making frequent payments. Direct pay may be faster if you have an immediate payment deadline and have never used EFTPS. So there are some differences, okay? And when we talk about the differences, let's just quickly go through them. So when you talk about direct pay, no registration is required. There are actually limitations on multiple payments up to two current or future payments per day. And you can view past and the pending, upcoming, and future payments. And there is no free phone payments using direct pay. Okay, so but when we talk about EFTPS, registration is required. You have up to 4 current or future payments. Okay, you can view all pending payments plus up to 16 months of past payments. And so one thing I want to say here is that EFTPS is more robust, is more comprehensive than the direct pay. That's why the government wants businesses to use actually EFTPS more. Both direct pay and EFTPS allow payments from either a checking or savings account from a U.S. financial institution. treat payments due on the date of payments as being made on time, even if the bank withdrawal actually happens later. Those two programs offer evidence of your payment through a confirmation number and optional email, allow scheduling of payments up to 365 days in advance, and permit pending payments to be canceled up to 2 days prior to the scheduled payment date. Let's talk about managing payments, okay? Now, I just want to quickly remind everybody that in today's conversation, today's topic is how to pay personal income tax online. So the thing here, let's just talk about managing payments. So how do you actually make a payment? Well, you have to go to the IRS website. You have to choose the option Make a Payment on the main direct pay page. You will then need to select the reason for your payment, which is always important. You need to specify that, how you want the payment to be applied, and the tax year you want the payment applied to. If your payment is not for an amount owed on your tax return, you may want to review the IRS guidance on selecting the appropriate reason for the payment, okay? And you can really easily schedule a future payment, so you can schedule a payment up to 365 days. This is really, really good. Think about it in terms of flexibility. You have up to 1 year where you can just plan out all your payments. So that way, this is kind of cool for your cash flow planning also, okay? So after choosing the make a payment option on during the application process, you will be prompted to select a payment date. It's very straightforward, very easy. And you can also verify, change, or cancel a future payment, okay? It's all about because once you actually have a confirmation number, please write it down, because everything goes from there, everything goes through there, okay? And if you want to set recurring payment, that's also possible. And so you can, with direct pay though, the only problem is you can only make or schedule one payment at a time using direct pay. So if you request email confirmation, you will receive an email reminder 2 days before the scheduled payment date. Otherwise, you'll need to keep track of the future payment dates yourself. So to schedule estimated tax payments to occur at intervals throughout the year and check on their status, paying through EFTPS may be faster and easier. That's what I was just talking to you about earlier when I said that EFTPS is more robust than a direct pay. And so if you are making monthly installment agreement payments and on an overdue amount, you can set up recurring payments with the online payment agreement application, okay? And remember that interest and penalties will be charged on any unpaid balances. So how do you actually verify your identity, and what information do you need to provide? So every time you re-enter DirectPay after closing it, DirectPay verifies your personal information from a prior tax return of your choice. So this information does not need to be the same tax year on which you are making your payment, though. It's very important. And it can be from as far back as 5 or 6 years ago, depending on the time of the year. So it's really flexible here. The IRS just wants to make sure it is actually you who is logging into your direct pay account. So the thing here is that, listen, if you want to make sure that your payment actually got to the IRS and on time, everything starts from the confirmation number. Okay, your confirmation number confirms that you have approved the IRS to make the bank withdrawal. If the withdrawal is successful, you will get credit for the day you selected in direct pay, though it may take up to 2 business days to actually process. And payments submitted after 8 p.m. Eastern for the same day will typically appear as if they were made the next business day in your online account. Okay, and basically this is important if you're trying to prevent some kind of penalties and interest on late payments. So to verify your payments was processed successfully, check your online tax account on the IRS website 2 business days after the date you scheduled the payment to be withdrawn from your bank account. Obviously, you can also look at your bank account to see that the money was actually taken out, but also, again, you have to cross-check that information with the IRS website just to make sure that you are on the same page, that the IRS and you are on the same page, okay? And one thing I want to say here is that you can also make a payment for someone else if you file jointly on the same tax return, okay? And so just if you go into direct pay, you'll have an option that says married filing joint return. So this is actually, you have to select that as your filing status, then input the remaining information for the primary spouse. And so that's how you actually file on behalf of somebody else. You can make a payment on behalf of somebody else. And you can also actually pay from a non-US bank account. The only thing is that direct pay requires a US bank routing number, an ABA. So this 9-digit number is generally printed on checks and is available from your bank. If you have an account with an international bank that has a US affiliate, the bank may be able to provide the routing number. Direct pay does not accept SWIFT codes. That's the only problem they have right now. Now, other payment options are available if you need to pay from a foreign bank with no US routing number. And so you can let us know if you want to know more. We'll just let you know, okay? And at all times, you can know how much you owe by logging into your direct pay account, and you will see. And one thing I want to say here is that you can also obtain a filing extension through direct pay, okay? It's very simple. When you go into your central dashboard, you will see options that say file extension. So you just click on that and you're able to extend the date that you need. But remember that interest and penalties may continue to apply. Let me dig a little deeper here in terms of the payment options that are available through direct pay. By the way, I want to quickly remind everybody of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to pay personal income tax online. And so what I want to say here is that when we talk about direct pay, we are speaking about a program that is very comprehensive, okay? So the thing is, let's say you want to, let's talk about the reason of payment. So there are several ways to actually think of direct pay. So reason for payments can be payment plan, installment agreement, balance due, extension, estimated tax. If you receive notices CP 2000, CP 2501, or CP 3219A, you can actually pay this through direct pay, okay? And you can apply payments to individual tax return 1040, 1040A. You can have 5329. So there is a constellation of programs, of forms that you can actually pay through direct pay. One thing I also want to say here is that when we talk about direct pay in general, we have to talk about a program that's very, very comprehensive. And the thing is that don't forget, you can actually pay your personal income tax online through direct pay. But it's not about just the payment. It's about everything that comes before that and after that. Okay, it's important to think about your tax planning. What is your tax planning strategy? Okay, because if you find yourself in a situation where you constantly have to pay your income taxes online because you are late or because you cannot afford to pay, then you want to go back to the origins and think about, why am I in this situation? Is it because your employer is not taking enough, is not withholding enough taxes from your paycheck? If that's the case, then you want to go back and revisit your Form W-4, okay? Or is it because you are not in the right tax category in terms of, are you married but you choose to file separately? So those are things you have to think about. Also, in terms of actually being able to pay your taxes, is it because you don't have enough savings? So those are things I really want you to think about, because direct pay is just a tool. It is a platform. It is a wonderful one that allows you to actually comply with your tax obligations. This is really good, but in the short run, that works. In the long run, you're gonna have to find a solid response to your tax. I would say your quote unquote your tax problems. Talking about problems, let's have a conversation about resolving problems regarding direct pay. So if you receive a confirmation from direct pay but the IRS says the payment was never received, then we have a problem, right? You have a contradiction here. So how do you actually resolve this dichotomy? Well, your direct pay confirmation number only confirms the attempt to withdraw the payment from your bank. Unfortunately, there are times when a payment will not get processed. For instance, if you did not have enough money in your bank account. If you have checked with your bank and have evidence the payment was actually debited from your bank account, but it's missing from your IRS online account, 2 business days after the payment date, you want to contact the IRS by phone. Don't do it in the mail. You want to contact them by phone, okay? And if the IRS is unable to process your payments, you will receive by email or USPS mail a payment return notice asking you to resubmit the payment. If the IRS applies a penalty, you will receive a second notice by mail with the amount of the penalty. Very important. So if you have checked your bank statements and have evidence that payment was debited from your bank account, but you receive a notice saying that the IRS did not receive it, again, you want to contact the IRS by phone. Now, there is a phone number on your notice. So the payment could have been misapplied, okay, or the notice could have been sent out before the payment was received. So there could be some timing issues here. And the thing is that if you cannot select your tax year on the verify identity page, well, DirectPay can only verify your identity with information from one of your past tax returns. One thing I want to say here is that you can actually go back 5 to 6 years depending on the time of the year. Remember, so this year, for example, if you are in 2023, you can only go back to 2017 or 2018. Okay, so those are things I want you to think about. So that means what? It means if your payment is for the current tax year, example 1040 ES estimated payments, or a tax return more than 6 years ago, you will need to select another year's return to verify your information. So the IRS recommends using your most recent return for verification. You cannot use DirectPay to make a payment if you have never filed a federal tax return and if you are making a payment on your first federal tax return. So remember, sometimes your identity information is not accepted or you get asked for it again. Please contact the IRS. Okay, so those are various problems that you might have. It's always important to contact the IRS by phone if you're having difficulties with the IRS DirectPay. And the thing is, so you can also, so the first option, if you want to pay online, is through the IRS DirectPay, okay? The second option is you can pay with debit or credit card or digital wallet. So this is more direct. You don't have to register for anything. You can just pay, okay? So basically you can pay by debit card, credit card, or digital wallet. Digital wallet, I'm talking about PayPal, for example, or Samsung Pay or Google Pay, or Apple Pay for that matter, okay? And so this actually applies for individuals and businesses, not for payroll tax deposits. So it's really important to remember that there are some fees that may apply, processing fees, that is, okay? And so if we were to look at the fees by processor, I want you to look on the screen right now. So here are the fees. So we have ACI payments, you have Pay 1040, and you have Pay USA Tax. So those are the three processors, the three primary processors that the IRS works with, and they charge you based on the transaction, okay? And so you can pay, actually there is a minimum number of card payments allowed based on your tax type and payment type. And so for card payments of $100,000 or more, special requirements may apply. So one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about if you want to pay by credit card or debit card or digital wallet, please go back and review all the fees. Let's just quickly talk about the fees here. So for ACI payments, if you're paying by debit card, it's $2.20. If you're paying by credit card, it's 1.98%. The minimum fee is $2.50. And the payment accepted: Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, Star, Plus, Nice, PayPal, Click to Pay, Pay with Cash. If you go with Pay 1040, you can pay by consumer or personal debit card. If you're paying by a debit card, $2.50 or 1.87%. $2.50 flat fee for consumer or personal debit card. And you also, if you're paying by credit card, is 1.87%. Minimum fee $2.50. Payments accepted: Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, Star, Pulse, Nice, ASL, AFFN, Cirrus, Interlink, Genie, Shazam, and Maestro, Click to Pay. For Pay USA Tax, if you're paying by debit card, $2.55. If you're paying by credit card, 1.96%. Minimum fee $2.69. And payments accepted: Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, Star, Pulse, Nice, ASL, PayPal, and Click to Pay. I want to dig a little deeper here by showing you on the screen. You can see the payment processor fee comparisons. Now, it's really important to understand that every Every payment processor has fees, and I just give you a couple of the fees here, but you need to understand that none of the fees actually go to the IRS, so the IRS is not getting a cut of the fee, whatever. So you don't need to send in a voucher if you pay by card. So card processing fees are tax deductible for business taxes. You must contact the card processor to cancel a card payment, and the IRS will refund any overpayment unless you owe a debt on your account. Okay, so your card statement will actually list your payments as United States Treasury tax payment and your fee as tax payment convenience fee or something similar. So it's really important to look out for those types of notices on your bank statements. Okay, and remember that federal tax lien releases can take up to 30 days after the IRS receives full payment. Liens may remain for other individuals who have not fully paid their portion. So this is important here. And one thing I also want to say here is that if you have any question, if you are not sure what to do, it's always important to contact the payment processor themselves. Remember, when you pay while electronically filing your taxes, different card fees applies. So it's important. So we are going to put on the screen right now the contact information for all the three payment processors. So let's first start with ACI payments. So ACI payments, here you have it on the screen. So if you want to call them, you have the number. The live operator, you have the number. Service, you have the number. If you want to call internet, if you are outside the United States, you want to call, here's the number also. Now we have 1040. We're putting this on the screen here. So 1040, the payments, you have the number here, the service, the number. Okay, they don't have a live operator at pay 1040. So important for international non-toll free. Here is the number. And then we have the Pay USA tax. Here is the information for Pay USA tax for payments, for live operator, for service. And Pay USA is more. Pay USA tax is more. I think is broader. They offer broader services. So for international non-toll free, they have payments, live operator, and service. Now, I want to quickly talk to you about your online account. See, the whole thing is that if you are paying personal income taxes online, you got to really manage your online account. So you can access your individual account information, including balance, payments, tax records, and more. So you're trying to really have a clear idea of where you stand. If you don't have an existing IRS username on ID.me account, have your photo identification ready. More information about identity verification is available on the sign-in page. And see, everything happens here on the IRS website. Okay, and this is a great website. It's a really, we love it in terms of user friendliness, in terms of information transparency. That's pretty cool. The government is really trying to do a lot in that aspect of things. So you can view your balance, for example. In other words, you can view the amount you owe, as well as the breakdown by the tax year. So remember, you can go all the way back to 5 to 6 years, okay? And you can make and view payments. So you can make a payments from your bank account or by debit or credit card. You can also make a guest payments without logging in. You can view 5 years of payment history, including your estimated tax payments. You can view any pending or scheduled payments. This is really good. And the cool thing is you can also actually view or create payment plans. So you can learn about payment plan options and apply for a new payment plan. You can view details of your payment plan if you already have an existing one. You can manage communication preferences. This is really good. So the thing is, if you want to respond to certain notices from the IRS, you can actually go paperless. Okay, and not only in terms of the IRS transmitting the notices to you, they don't have to mail it to you anyway. If you go paperless, they'll send things to you electronically, and when you respond to them, you can also do so electronically. So those are really good, and you can get email notifications for new account information or activity. You can also access your tax records, so you can view key data from your most recently filed tax return, including your AGI, your adjusted gross income, and you can even access transcript. So you can see that there is a constellation of things you can actually get from your online account. You can view information about your child tax credit payments. You can view digital copies of certain notices from the IRS, okay? And you can actually see a lot of things. You can even view any authorization requests from tax professionals. You can approve and electronically sign power of attorney and tax information authorization from your tax professional. So really good. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to pay personal income tax online, so you can do so through the IRS Direct Pay, okay? And you can also do so through debit or credit card or digital wallet. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.